Congratulations to the Douglas's Mayor's Youth Council meeting. This will serve as our regular meeting for March the 17th, 2022. We will now have the invocation by Jackeline Moncanda. Probably going to say that wrong.
Hello. Well, my name is Jacqueline, so I ask everybody to stand up. We're going to pray to open this wonderful meeting on such a pretty day it is today, isn't it? Y'all good?
Yes, it is.
It's such a pretty day. All right, so I'm going to ask everybody to bow their heads and let's go to God. Thank you, Heavenly God, for this opportunity that you've allowed us to come together, Father, to prepare a generation, Father, that is going to be at the head one day. Father, I ask that you continue to pour out into these leaders that are today, Father, but also the leaders that you are raising up. Father, we stand in the gap for this community, for this town, Father, that in the midst of everything going on, in the midst of confusion, in the midst of such a chaotic moment, Father, that you just bring peace to this town, that you bring peace to the everybody that lives here, Father, and the surrounding areas, Father. I just ask that you continue to strengthen everything that you have brought into this town. I just ask that you bring wisdom and intelligence to everyone, not just inside of here, Father, but outside of these four walls. And that this meeting will go great, and that you just continue to pour out to these young men and young women. I pray all these things. In your name, amen.
Amen. Next, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody will please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Next, we have the approval of the order of the agenda. Do I hear a move to...
I approve this order.
I second that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carried. Next, we will have some recognitions.
With only four of you, you have the voice of your vote in order for it to be legal. Okay.
Okay. So I have to say aye.
You have to say aye. Okay.
Our Mayor's Youth Council spotlight will be Ms. Aby Mazariegos, and her plaque says, "Given this 17th day of March of 2022 by the Mayor's Youth Council, the City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council recognizes you for your outstanding contributions towards the excelling of the Mayor's Youth Council. We appreciate your contribution to the programs and to the great city of Douglas, Georgia. We wish you well in your future endeavors."
And for our spotlight today, the City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council acknowledges Jacqueline Moncada, given this 17th day of March 2022 by the Mayor's Youth Council. The City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council recognizes you for your participation as Board of Trustee for FCA and also the Medical Institute of South Georgia, as well as Youth Pastor of Seven de Vida Ministries. We wish you well in your future endeavors.
Next, we have some reports by Ms. Denitra Williams.
Good evening. And again, thank you for coming and sharing this meeting night with us. I would like to first invite everyone to our teen court. We're still accepting applications for jurors as well as the other positions, attorneys, clerk, bailiff. It is a wonderful program to participate in and learn about our local judicial system. There are actual cases, and they're just like the normal case, court cases, just everything is done by youth. Everything but the judge. And they are actual cases. These are not mock cases. So we invite you. They are always the first Saturday of the month at the Law Enforcement Center at 9 o'clock. So we invite you, if you're interested, you can contact either myself or Ms. Juanetta, either via phone or online, or go to the Customer Care Center next to Save-A-Lot grocery store. So you are invited. An update from the Keep Douglas Beautiful. We had a wonderful meeting on the 8th of March. We had just completed our training, so we got a chance to do our 3-year strategic plan and came up with some wonderful events to help beautify the city of Douglas. Mainly April 30th, we're going to have the Great American Cleanup. That's going to be from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And from that evaluation that we did some months ago, we identified of all the wards, which ward we wanted to concentrate on first, which is Ward 3, because that includes those main areas coming into town. So we want, as people come to visit Douglas, that's the first thing they see, first impressions. So we want to work on that area first. We also got with Parks and Recreations to identify a park that we're going to work on. So we're going to need help to include the Mayor's Youth Council, Teen Court, Fly Girls, AIMS, Ambitious Young Men, STEM, FBLA, all the A's, all the youth that are interested in coming and helping and volunteer to make sure our great city of Douglas looks as beautiful as it is. And there are going to be some other events coming along, and I'll let you know as plans are made. You can go on the City of Douglas website and find out additional information about this and other upcoming events with Keep Douglas Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Next, we have a Parks and Recreation update by Mr. Young.
Thank you, ma'am. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great, all is well, all is well. As always, I look forward to the opportunity to share what's going on with Parks and Recreation here in the great city of Douglas, Coffee County. Right now, we're close to completing phase 1 of our SPLOST projects that we took on several years ago. Phase 1 included the construction of an 8-lane competition swimming pool, a Miracle League. If you're not familiar with Miracle League, please Google, but a Miracle League is a league specifically for kids with special needs, physical and mental challenge participant kids or adults. So we want to make sure we include all the kids, anyone in our community have a special need, a physical or mental disability. Grand opening of Premier Park, the new sports complex out by the high school, out in that complex out there, will be tentatively scheduled for this Saturday, weather permitting, at 9:30 a.m. We want to invite everyone in the community to come out. Free hot dogs, potato chips, sodas, just a great day. All the kids to sign up in our leagues will be playing abbreviated games. I want to make sure we invite everyone to come out for that right there. Right now we have a USSSA softball tournament. You may not know what USSSA is, but that's going to be an organization that, as people may know, as travel teams. That's going to be a travel softball tournament on March 26th. We have close to 50 teams coming to our community. It's the beginning of an era of travel ball in Douglas Coffee County. Obviously, elected officials were concerned about getting these travel teams here, not going to Hazelhurst or Jeff Davis County or Waycross, Ware County. We host the activities here in Douglas Coffee County. So next weekend will be the weekend we'll have our first tournament. Looking forward and really excited about that. Those teams will be playing at Premier Sports Complex, Great Walker Complex, and Huckabee Complex. So every facility that we have will be booked with travel teams. People in our community coming to our community are playing ball. The city of Douglas has committed close to $14 million on its first SPLOST project. So for anyone to say that the city of Douglas, Coffee County is not committed to the youth or quality leisure services, I beg to differ. Well, everybody have opinions, but we're going to be talking facts. 14 million committed to the youth and the citizens for leisure services. That's really huge for a community of our size. Like I said, I spoke on basically all the athletic facilities. I hadn't even mentioned our special programs. Our special program with Ms. Gina Gibbs, wellness day camps, field trips, senior wellness, Easter egg hunts are a few of the programs that's offered to our program division. So I'd like to say there are many opportunities in the city of Douglas Coffee County with leisure services. There's something that we are not offering. We're receptive to that. Whatever the case may be, we want to make sure we serve all citizens. Doesn't matter about your socioeconomic status. That's irrelevant. And we want you to come out and participate. We want to have a vibrant and healthy community. So I welcome the opportunity anytime I can come and step before the youth council and just share what we're doing. Because a lot of times people are not sure, or they may be innuendo out in the community, but you can't get it straight from the director's mouth, what's going on. We were glad to do it. I would be remiss not to thank the mayor and commission and also the county commission for assisting us and really funding all our projects. But once again, $14 million committed to parks and recreation in Douglas Coffee County. That's huge. I do know it's the largest commitment of funds in the city of Douglas history in parks and recreation, so we can really be proud of that. And that's only phase one. When phase two comes, that's going to be a soccer complex and also renovation, upgrade, and Huckabee complex. So hopefully within the next 25, 30, 40 years, we'll have some stuff to really be proud of in the city of Douglas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions before he goes and sits down? No. Thank you. Next, we have an update on the ambitious young men, but I don't see Mr. Bazell here, so.
No, unfortunately, he's not here. He's doing his first duty, which is being a father and supporting Jeremiah with a track meet in Moultrie. Basically, it's the same. They have the first Tuesday, fourth Tuesday. It won't be this fourth Tuesday because they have an event, but it will be the first Tuesday. It's usually the first Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday of each month for AIM. And I want to encourage everyone who know any young men that wants to participate for us being mentored to try the AIM program along with girls for Fly Girls and the STEM 101. The STEM 101, I know that is on Tuesdays as well. I'm not for sure about the Fly Girls. I think they meet in school or during school, so I'm not for sure on that one. But I did want to bring up that it's been a great year. Next month will be our last meeting, our Mayor's Youth Council for this year, for this term here. If anybody's interested in participating with the Mayor's Youth Council, we take from 8th grade to 12th grade. Of course, we look for you guys that are leaving us to have somebody to slide on in, bring somebody. I always say, train yourself out your position. Find someone to take your part. So we trust you guys that you'll be sending people our way to participate with our 2022 and 2023 Mayor's Youth Council. That's it.
Thank you very much. Next, we have a presentation by Miss McKenzie Craft.
Well, I'm McKenzie. I'm currently the physical therapist, clinic director, and part owner at Benchmark Physical Therapy. Some of you guys were probably at our ribbon cutting. I think it was the end of June last year. So we're in the old medicine cabinet building. I'm going to be talking a little bit about like health and wellness and incorporating some information on physical therapy in there. I wanted to start just by kind of explaining physical therapy and physical therapists, because I feel like a lot of the times people don't really know what we do. Like even our patients, they'll get referred and they're like, what are you going to do? They think PT, pain and torture, and that is not true. It's not true. It's not true. So yeah, and a lot of this is just a brief overview of things that I thought, the general population, not technically our patients, but could just kind of use for exercise, body mechanics, workstation, environment, things like that. So if there's anything you want to know more about, you can ask me at the end, or I put my email, our clinic phone number. I also really like if anyone's interested in a career or thinking about school or just wants to get more ideas, people come shadow us and stuff like that. So anyways, all right, so basically exercise, we all know, we hear it's curative. It can help all kinds of things, preventing impairments, improve, restore, or enhance physical function, reduce health-related risk factors, heart disease, diabetes, falls. We do a lot of fall training and things like that in the older population. So it's not just used to fix a problem that's already occurring, is preventative as well. And so just to optimize the overall health and status, your well-being. So basically a lot of statistics, research shows that you're considered healthy if you're an adult around 18 years or older, if you do participate in at least 30 minutes of moderate physical activity, at least 5 days. It doesn't have to be 7, but 7 days is better. And moderate basically just means it's not vigorous. You don't have to get out there and run 5 miles and get your heart rate like high to where you're going to pass out. But I try to explain it as anywhere from like 50 to 70% of working compared to like 0% to 100%. So you get your heart rate up, elevated, and just kind of a sustained period of time of exercising. So everybody's familiar with the types of things you can do, but cardiovascular training, American Heart Association says 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity, again that kind of 50 to 70%, or 75 minutes of vigorous, which is, you're pushing, you get into the middle. The big thing with cardiovascular training is getting your heart rate up and keeping it up. You can jog, you don't have to run. Some people it's just brisk walking, swimming, rowing, cycling, elliptical, anything like that. So when you are, and I'm sure a lot of y'all go to the gym or you participated in sports, and we do this too in like treatment when we're prescribing exercise and things for patients. We look at what they need. Is it more of an endurance issue, meaning when we're having them lifting weights or doing repetitions of exercises, is it more because they don't necessarily need to be lifting heavy things and their strength's okay? It's just maybe at work or maybe at home they fatigue or tire out when putting the dishes away in the cabinet. So that's more of an endurance thing. They need to be able to unload the whole dishwasher compared to lifting heavy boxes. So endurance, you do more sets, 3 to 5, and more repetitions. So it's lower weight, but more times. For strength, it's the opposite. Fewer sets, fewer repetitions, but it's heavier weight. It shouldn't be so much, I tell people, especially men and guys, that you're not lifting, it shouldn't hurt, like it shouldn't cause physical pain. It should be a good burn, and by the end of the reps, like if you're doing 1 set of 10, by about that 8th, 9th, or 10th rep, it should be to where you couldn't finish out another set without resting, that it does work you. Research shows that it does take a good anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, depending on the patient and the body type, or the person. used to saying patients, clients, to actually get a true increase in strength. So, stretching, everybody can stretch. You don't have to have pain or anything like that. Stretching's good before you go out and do your workout and afterwards. Just kind of gets the blood flowing and warms up the tissue. The big thing with stretching that I tell people and my patients, you do low intensity. You don't want to stretch. You don't want to immediately pull into it and stretch no matter what you're stretching, and because it can cause the muscle tissue to kind of tear a little bit. So it's low intensity, that's what that means, low load. And you do it fewer times, so anywhere from like 3 to 5 times for a longer period of time. 30 seconds to a minute is what we always recommend. So common injuries, we treat a lot of things. We see all kinds of things. These are just common injuries that, like, anyone can have. You may be out there running, playing basketball. You may sprain your ankle. You may wake up with a stiff neck. You may have someone that has like chronic back pain or something like that you just deal with. So what do? It's hard. I mean, when we treat people, we do an evaluation. We look at the whole person, their age, their comorbidities, how long the pain, what tissue we think's involved, all that. There is more in depth than this, but in general, there's guidelines you follow. So if you were to go out and run and you twist your ankle or something like that, you would just these are just some general things you could do. So pain management with everything, obviously. So if it's acute, meaning you go out and do it today, or it happened within the past 3 weeks or so, or a little bit longer than that, we recommend ice, especially if there's swelling or there's heat, inflammation present. That'll help reduce it. Elevation, compression, that's why you see people get their ankles wrapped, their knees wrapped, things like that. But the big thing is people used to think you just elevated it, you didn't move it because it was hurting, it was swelling, but that's not true. Gentle mobility, you want to keep it going. That's curative. It gets the blood flowing, it keeps it from stiffening up and just causing more pain. So chronic's a whole different story. If you battle with back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, any kind of pain, we found that heat's the best. I mean, you don't have to use it, it's preference. It just helps relax the tissue, the muscles, things like that. And again, just restoring the motion. Don't quit moving just because it hurts. Just kind of make it tolerable. Movement is curative for sure. Okay, and then down at the bottom, you can't really see it. Our printer, I thought it printed color, but it doesn't. But just some general things of injury prevention that I was going to talk a little bit about in the next slide. So posture, we can all relate to this. I have to be mindful of it too, whether you're standing up or if you're sitting. I tend to slouch, but we all tend to rest in kind of the forward head posture, rounded shoulders, neck forward. So something good to that is just be mindful. You can do some chin tucks. It strengthens these muscles of the neck that tend to get weak and stretch the back that gets tight. Give a lot of like doorway stretch, opening up the chest, just things like that. Just being mindful when you kind of sit up. Having good core stability is good for your back as well, and kind of helps with that curvature that a lot of the time you see in us women. We have a little bit more than men. So basically, posture, posture, posture. It doesn't matter if someone comes in with neck pain or back pain, we're focusing on posture up here for the neck, core for the back. So ergonomics, I'm not going to read all this, but it was a good reminder for me, and it's simple things, it's common sense if you read it, but I feel like sometimes we don't take the time to do it. And if you're sitting at a desk, I mean, we all sit at desks at some point in time and look at computer screens and things like that. So just kind of being mindful of that, making sure your legs are parallel to the ground, feet rest flat on the floor. The screen's a certain distance, and I think it talks about that, how far it needs to be. Your computer, a lot of the times we put our wrist in more of a hyperextension, and that puts stress, and a lot of the times people end up with carpal tunnel or symptoms like that. So just having them a neutral wrist and putting like a cushion underneath, if you can't do, or if you're not able to maintain your wrist neutral, they make all kinds of cushions, all kind of things for your mouth, the computer mouse. Sitting in your computer chair or any kind of chair, you want to make sure it has a firm back. And that it's wide enough that it supports you. Lumbar rolls and pillows are good for that, and that's the same thing as riding in like a vehicle. It provides stability for your back so that you're not arched like this, and it doesn't make you bend over like this. So those are all kind of simple little things. And then again, I know I'm like this at work, I don't know why, but you're supposed to keep it close into you so you're sitting up tall. And again, make sure the chair that you're resting at don't have your shoulders in an elevated position for a sustained period of time. You want them relaxed. Another part, injury prevention, that they even talked about in my school because it just makes up everything. Stress management, these are just a couple things. Muscle relaxation techniques, how many times have we all just kind of stood up and just rolled your shoulders, like bend over, things like that. It really does work because when you're tense, when you're stressed, everything guards. Like you hear people come in and they're like, my neck hurts, but I think it's because I carry all my stress in my shoulders. I mean, it happens. Like who doesn't have tight traps up here? So anything like that, again, that goes back to stretching, just laying on your back, doing some side-to-side rotations with your leg. I love diaphragmatic breathing. I let people do that who come in with high pain and I can't really do anything with them because they're just like in so much pain. And so I was just going to tell you how you can do that. It's really simple. You lay on your back like that picture. It's the first picture at the top. Put one hand right here, one hand on your belly. When you breathe in, your chest, the hand on your chest should not move much, but the hand on your belly is what's moving. When you breathe in, the stomach should expand because it's pushing everything down for the lungs to accept the air. Then when you breathe out, it should come back in. It's helping pushing everything up. And you've heard when people have had panic attacks and stuff, it's like deep breathing, deep breathing. So in through your nose, and then we say it's like blowing out the candle, like nice and slow out the mouth. So, and then I just added modalities in massage because that's just kind of what we do in treatment. And modalities is again just like ice, heat, the feel good stuff. And we don't do massage, but we do soft tissue because research shows there are common effects in putting your hands on people and calms everything down. Body mechanics, you've all heard about lifting. You lift with your legs, not your back. A lot of the times it's easier said than done. And they always say neutral spine. Y'all probably know what that is, but it's technically your spine is in neutral. Too much bent forward puts the muscles on stretch. They're not contracting, so they're not protecting, and it puts more stress on your ligaments, which aren't really designed to maintain what we call the support while you're doing that. Leaning back too much, again, it's just the opposite. So kind of neutral like that has the muscles contracting, they're engaged to help protect the spine from further damage when you're lifting. And squatting, yes, squat, I'm not gonna do it, but squat to lift. But some people can't squat, and so they have faulty mechanics anyway, so more of a lunge or anything like that. Loading position, same thing. When you carry, you shouldn't have it down here because again it's putting stress. Carry close to you, keep it tight in. The center of gravity is what they say. Your center of gravity is right in this area, so just close to your body. Again, kind of simple things we all know. Take the turn out of twisting. So don't be twisting like this, carrying things, turning with your body. Just simple things like that. Again, repetitive reaching, and a lot of this does just make me think of, people at their job, like what they have to do over and over. That's when it catches up with you. Again, leaning, walk, stepping forward, stepping back, stepping forward, stepping back. Okay, and I get a lot of questions about sleeping. So basically the general thing is yes, you should sleep on a firmer mattress to prevent stress on the body. But if it is too soft, it's not good for you. Like it puts your muscles in a weird position, and same thing with the ligaments. Too firm, you can't relax. So firm. Just middle line firm. Shouldn't be hard as a rock, but shouldn't be like you're sleeping on a cloud to where your body kind of, do you know what I mean when you're like in a hole? You feel like you're in a hole. That's when you know you need a new mattress or you need to flip it or something. And again, people's like, can I sleep on a pillow? Yes, you can sleep on a pillow, but it shouldn't be so high that it's got your head, neck, and your shoulders in this position like this. Yeah, and that's it. So I have my email information, my personal, my work, and our clinic phone number if anybody has any questions, like related to just general health, wellness, exercise, stretching, stuff like that, or if you have more injury or specific. Like I said, it's kind of hard to get into specific, what do you do for if you have low back pain, or what do you do with shoulder, or stuff like that, because it's case specific, person specific, and stuff like that. So, questions? Yes. I don't know.
How you park your vehicle to the door?
Right in front of the door.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I step out and I'm right there. Isn't that right?
Who would you get to go side with you? Me? No, you on the floor.
I did,
Okay.
the sleeping part.
Yes.
So you're talking about for us the pillow.
Yes.
Do you recommend the pillow as well to be firm, soft, or was it soft and then your head might?
Your head's, the biggest thing with the pillows is kind of the same thing. Like my pillow is very thin. Like it provides cushion, but my head doesn't sink down into it. So with that question, it can be soft or it can be firm, but I wouldn't have it so thick, if that makes sense. If it's smaller like this, then if your head kind of does, it's not putting that much stress on it if it kind of goes.
Another thing is, I know when we get into the spring or something, people say you rotate hot, cold. When is, for instance, I get these all the time, my neck, the crook in my neck, is they put the ice, ice pack or sweet peas or whatever on them, and you go back and forth. So I'm trying to figure out, when do you know to go back and forth from ice to cold?
So with that, you've had this, like you sometimes the neck flares up, sometimes it doesn't. With that, it's fine. It's preference, what feels good to you. The ice is gonna just make it tighter, but it'll decrease the inflammation and it'll help. And then you alternate the heat, it helps with the stiffness. So with that, that's fine. The big thing where it matters is if someone has surgery and they come in and they've got a big old incision and their knee's swollen, you would never put heat on them. If you more of it happened right now and I can look and see that it's hot and it's angry, don't put heat on it, because heat causes the blood vessels to open up and the blood to rush to the area. So if you already have a lot of swelling and inflammation and it's red, it's just going to make it worse, and that can lead to infection. So with that, it's fine. You're not going to hurt anything. And that's like, we have patients all the time, chronic back pain going on off and on for years. They'll come in. We want to put them on heat just because it helps relax the garden, and we want them to like loosen up and stuff like that, but they're like, I like ice, it feels better. That's fine with me. Like, we're not going to mess up anything. Some of it's patient preference too. It's really just if it's acute or if it's chronic. But like there's no right or wrong answer. Like, I mean, it may say, like research may say, do 10 minutes of ice, then 10 minutes of heat, but it's really whatever you want to do as far as that. What feels good, yeah.
Question regarding falling. I've heard that people say most of the injury takes place when you're trying to stop or prevent the fall, that you should just go into the fall. If you're falling anyway, just go in.
Well, the big thing is, like if somebody's falling in my clinic, depending on how, big they are or something, I'm going after their head because I'm not going to be able to save everything. So protect your head if you are going to do that. I mean, it's true, if you go to fall, you put your arm out, well, most of the time you're going to have what we call a foosh injury, where it's going to break this right up in here. You may dislocate your shoulder and things like that. But then again, if you just kind of let it yourself go, you're going to hurt something else. So it's like, yeah, I mean, if it's to where you can kind of turn and fall like on your butt, then that would be better than falling and breaking your shoulder. But a lot of the times it doesn't work like that. But most of the time when we treat someone post falls, it's not because they fell and landed straight on there. It's because they stuck their arm out and they broke their wrist, or they dislocated their shoulder, or all the above. I'm treating one lady now that it's her wrist all the way up into her hand. Because from doing that. So yes, you shouldn't put your arm out but I can't promise you'll be okay if you tuck and just fall. Yeah, but no, that's a good question, because that's what they say to stay, is don't try to catch yourself. So sorry, I feel like that's not a good answer, but. Yeah, I mean, but.
Okay.
My question was, so I've heard that you're not supposed to sleep on your stomach, that it's bad supposedly on the pillow. I'm a side sleeper and like a back sleeper. Which one is helps more with kind of keeping your body at?
So, they say back. Research, textbook, say back. Sleep on your back. You're in alignment. Again, that's if you have a good pillow and you're not sleeping on your back and your neck's up like this. But as far as the actual spine, like coming all the way down the back, if you can't sleep on your back, something that feels good is you have them laying down. You put a bolster, put some pillows or something under your legs that unloads pressure on the spine. Side sleeping is fine if that's what you need to do. But something to help you be in more neutral alignment is, again, don't double the pillow, you know what I mean? To crank your neck up like this, and putting the pillow between your legs. But people, I don't know, and I guess I've always not thinking about the general healthy population, I think about people coming in there with impairments that I treat, and they're like, I know I'm supposed to sleep like this, and I'm thinking in my mind, honey, you just sleep however you can to sleep. Sleeping on your stomach, though, that is it. When you are laying like that, it loads the back of the spine, meaning where all your nerves and vertebrae come out, so that's why they say it's not good for you, because it compresses the joints and everything. And it puts if you sleep on your stomach, I would not sleep with a pillow, because that's what gets you. So yes, sleeping on your back is what you should do, but if you can't, side sleeping and stomach sleeping is okay. Just make sure, again, your head's not jerked up and you're laying on your side, put a pillow or something. But I mean, the back is. Anything else?
How many years did you go to college, and what degrees did you get?
Long time.
4 years of undergrad, which is like a bachelor's, and you can really get any degree, but it just pays to go ahead and get a science because it carries over better. Mine was in kinesiology, which is exercise science, and then PT school is 3 straight years, so 7 years. Is that it?
Is that all the questions? All right, thank you so much.
You ready to do y'all comments?
Yes, sir.
Have a minute, very quick, like?
Go ahead.
I'll talk to y'all about something, hopefully as brief as possible. I always say that, but it's never brief. To the Mayor's Youth Council, I always encourage y'all to stay current with current events. I'll ask you a question. Do you have any idea who Vladimir Klitschko is? Or Vitaly Klitschko? You ever heard of those names? So, I'm gonna tell you about those guys. Those guys are actually former heavyweight boxing champions of the world. They're brothers. What makes these guys very unique, they're Ukrainians. And you know that Russia invaded Ukraine. These two brothers are among the richest in that country. Multi-millionaires from boxing, endorsement deals, business adventures, investment adventures. But today, they are soldiers. They have enough money to go anywhere in the world, but yet they left their mansions and they are fighting for Ukraine. And one of the things I always try to get Americans to understand, if you've never lost anything and you don't know the value of what you have, And I think that sometimes in America, we don't recognize the value of what we have. And what I want to talk to you about is McKenzie just stood up here as a business owner. In some countries, women are not allowed to own businesses. McKenzie went to college. That's not allowed in some countries. By she graduated, we would say that she can read and write. Some countries don't allow women to learn to read or write. So in Ukraine, when they got the opportunity to live a free life, all of a sudden these two former boxing heavyweight champions of the world didn't want to just give up those freedoms and those liberties of what we enjoy every day seamlessly as Americans. Think about this right here. The young ladies up here drive. Some countries don't permit women to be able to drive a vehicle. They can't own a house, they can't own land, they can't vote. If they get married, normally the marriages are prearranged. You're going to marry the football player, not the soccer guy. You know what I mean? So, and the reason why I want you to think about that is that in America, we've never been challenged the way that Ukraine is being challenged. And I want you to watch a little TV when they are talking to citizens of Ukraine. There was a 71-year-old grandmother that had a weapon and that was ready to fight. You have teachers, doctors, lawyers, politicians, people from all facets of life. You have men rushing their families, their kids and their wives and their grandparents to freedom, and then they turn around and go back and fight. And the reason why I want you to think about that is that in America, we have all these liberties, we have all these freedoms, and we take them for granted. We take them for absolute granted. And I think that sometimes as Americans, when I was in Germany, this guy told me, he said Americans are lazy. They're spoiled because you woke up an American. You woke up with certain rights. You woke up with certain liberties and freedoms, the pursuit of happiness. That's why people come to this country. That's why they come to this country. If you can get to America, you got a shot at not only changing the direction of your life, but you can change the trajectory of your life. Just think about this right here. Up until President Biden was elected, did you know he was the poorest elected person on the federal level? He has no wealth, none. When his son became very ill, he was going to have to take out a second mortgage on his home. So he come from Scranton, New Jersey, and he's the president of the United States of America. Why? Because in this country, all things are possible. If you get up in the morning and you have a well-determined mind that you're gonna be the first president of the United States that's a female, or that you're gonna be the first governor of the state of Georgia that's a female, or you're going to start this corporation that does whatever, there's a true possibility that that can happen in the U.S. Think about this right here in Russia. You're not allowed to have a bank account. You can't. All the money belongs to the government. Everything that is in Russia is owned by the government. Your houses, your cars, everything. Very few people have the right in Russia to own anything. And the reason why I want you to think about that, as you leave here today, 2 minutes of your time, just think about from here to your house, what you enjoy that in the Ukraine they're fighting for. Just the freedom to be able to walk down the street. What would you be willing to pay? What price would you be willing to pay to be able to do that? The Klitschko brothers have put their fame and fortune on hold to fight for that. To fight just for the opportunity to be the best Ukrainian that you can be. And I tell Americans all the time, you're in the greatest country that God has ever created. You have an opportunity not only to be what you desire to be, but you can be more than you ever desire in your entire life by being in the United States of America. And I want you young ladies to think about it, because our guys are not here. Y'all are the governing body for the Mayor's Youth Council. This doesn't happen in numerous countries throughout the world. Women don't get that opportunity. You don't get the opportunity to vote. If you can't vote, you I'm sure don't get the opportunity to hold some public office. When we go to City Hall, we see a lot of women in there working. In some countries, women are not permitted to work in any facet of government. So I want you to be mindful, I want you to be thankful, and I want you to be grateful that you are blessed to live in a country that provides you the opportunity to enjoy these freedoms. And remember Ukraine. Just remember Ukraine. 3 weeks ago, there were kids in the playground. There were parents going to visit their children in the hospital. Now there are no children in the playground, at the playground. Now hospitals and churches and apartment buildings are being bombed. People are dying. But the main thing is, yeah, they're dying, but there's a lot of people fighting for those freedoms and liberties that we get every day. I used to do this speech. Regardless of what the situation is today, I still woke up an American. I still woke up an American. And just by me waking up as an American, guess what? I can change the trajectory of my life. I can make my situation better just because I woke up as an American. I didn't wake up as a Ukrainian. I didn't wake up as a Russian. You feel me? Just because I woke up as an American, I get the opportunity to change my life, to embellish my life, to be able to do anything that I want to do. But in the morning, somebody's going to wake up that's a Ukrainian. Maybe some of their relatives, they're going to find out, died through the night fighting for these liberties that we have. So remember, when you wake up in the morning, you're going to wake up as an American, and you ought to be grateful that God allowed you to wake up as an American. Okay? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. I'd like to add to that because I'm more of a tennis person, but there was recently a tennis player from Ukraine that was in a tournament, and he was favored to win. He was top 4 on the right track, could beat everybody by plenty, would have easily made probably 17 to 20 million would he won it, and he dropped out of the final 4 to go home and fight in Ukraine. So
There you go.
with that, I'm going to have our closing comments. Ms. Batten.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to our meeting this year. We're coming to an end. We appreciate all of your support. And congratulations to Ms. Jacqueline, and thank you. Thank you for the Parks and Rec update, Mr. Stevens. Thank you, Ms. McKenzie. And we hope you come to our next meeting April 21st. Thanks.
Ms. Mazariegos.
Good evening. I would like to thank every single one of you guys who took their time to come out here to support us. I would like to thank every single one of you that commented, that spoke today, for taking your time out. Also for our mayor, thank you for your word, your little speech that you gave us. It really was inspiring in a way, and I've learned some things from that. To be grateful of what I have and to just thank God for everything that He's done for us and for our lives. So thank you for reminding us that.
The other, Ms. Mazariegos.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in our meeting. Thank you, Jackie, for coming and doing the invocation, and congratulations on being in the spotlight. And thank you, Ms. Craft, for coming and give us a presentation of her physical therapy. I learned quite a few things from it. And thank you, Mayor, for giving the speech. Like Joanna said, it was inspiring and eye-opening, seeing what people do for their country and their rights.
Thank you. Again, I know it's been said probably about 4 times now, but thank you to everybody that came out tonight. I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Jacqueline for the invocation and congratulations on your award. Thank you, Mr. Young, for your update on the Parks and Recreations. I learned a good bit of information that I had no idea that I'll be sure to share with some people. Thank you to Ms. Craft for coming out here and educating us. I have learned a bunch. Like you said, I thought PT was pain and torture.
There you go.
So it was good to be set straight. And thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, because I feel like you've made us all have a little bit more grateful hearts tonight. You know, be a little more blessed for what we do have. I would like to close it out on saying that if you do know somebody that would be interested on being on the Mayor's Youth Council, I would highly recommend it. I've been on the Mayor's Youth Council for 2 years, and it has been life-changing for me. The amount of leadership skills I have learned, just being able to sit here and talk to y'all without stuttering and stumbling and trying to hide under the table, big steps of improvement for me, and I would highly suggest it for everybody. So on that note, if there's no further business to come before the Junior Commission, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I first this motion.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.
Good deal.